Fight Hard, You Lovely Thing by Franz Ferdinand off of their album Tonight, which was released in 2009 and was not their most recent album. Oh, boy. So we've run into this interesting fun fact corner moment in our show where I thought I was going to, try to provide some factual information out to everyone out there. And I love this idea of objecticism, especially in this troubling time where it's really, really difficult to agree with anyone on anything at this point, or at least that's what it feels like, certainly. And so that being the case, I was like, where can we go from, this massive confusion? We need to start from the bottom and work our way up. And so I've spoken a lot about the fact that education seems to be the most, important thing in the world. As long as we educate one another, as long as we are educated, we will be able to progress. And yeah, there's a lot of war being raged upon there, but we've already discussed that. We've already gone over that, and we're working to fix that. And so I'd like to move on to a different topic, a new one that I've been studying for quite a while now, actually, just trying to figure out the root of our problems right now, and I think I have found it. It's spatial awareness. Now, to everyone that I'm addressing right now, I could come out with this rational thought and this deductive thinking and explain it that way, but from what I understand, the people who most need to understand what spatial awareness is are the individuals who aren't going to listen to any of that. And so then I was thinking, how do I get this message conveyed to a bunch of individuals who don't want to listen to deductive thinking? So I was trying to brainstorm that sort of thing, and I thought, what do these people value more than anything else? And that is going back to a time in America where racism and misogyny was really, really prevalent and everything was perfect. Now, of course, that never actually existed, but it did kind of remind me of the McCarthyism era. And a friend of mine recently informed me, or I guess suggested at least, that if we are going down this road of fascism, if we could at least, kind of like cut across and go straight to McCarthyism, it would really, really help out and probably not kill millions of people. And I think that that's really, really awesome, but McCarthyism was really, really terrifying, and it didn't work, obviously. That's why we're in this whole debacle right now. And so, it's one of those weird circumstances where it might buy us 50 years, though. And so, how do I make this leap here? Keeping that in mind, I thought the best way to inform the public about what spatial awareness is, especially those individuals who don't want to listen to reason, it was to get a time machine, go back to the Red Scare era, go back to McCarthyism, and find some sort of instructional video and bring it back here to share with all of you and maybe be able to drive this point right on home. And so I'm very pleased to announce that we actually have this instructional video in the studio with us right now. And so without further ado, I think we're just going to send it that way, and we'll follow it up later with, a discussion and everything. But in the meantime, let's talk about spatial awareness.
Spatial awareness is the term we give to the ability to perceive the self in space. Look around you. Are you seated in a chair or lying on the floor? What kind of room are you in? And how do the objects in your proximity relate to you? The answer to all of these questions requires you to use spatial awareness. That's right, spatial awareness separates an understanding of your physical self from any other mass. But the fun doesn't end there, kids. Now think of how spatial awareness might apply to your daily social life. Think about an old woman sitting on her front porch. Watch out, kids. Her spatial awareness tells her exactly where her property line ends. Better find another game, boys. Looks like it's Old Lady Johnson's baseball this time. But what about this baby? See how it coos as mommy draws near?
Mama.
It certainly wouldn't respond that way if it were a bank robber. And what about this Portuguese fisherman? Why, he could hardly land his rod in the water, let alone steer the boat. Yes, everyone from an elderly grandmother to this baby and even this Portuguese fisherman has some level of spatial awareness which helps them carry out their everyday lives and communicate with others. Still need convincing? How about this driver then? Going a little fast there, hey fella? Don't you think it'd be better if you slowed down? Looks like somebody doesn't have very good spatial awareness. How would you like it if someone did that to you? Hey, stupid, watch where you're going. You almost hit that guy. Lucky our man at the intersection practices good spatial awareness and saw the lunatic coming. Otherwise, things might have gone differently. Yes, everyone has spatial awareness, and though race, religion, and socioeconomic status might give you varying degrees of entitlement, we should at least learn to respect the boundaries of others. America, paving a better future for tomorrow.
And see, that's the problem, is that this applies to a lot more than just what we're talking about right here. I mean, I've noticed a lot of weird stuff happening lately, particularly on the roads, actually. Like, driving has gotten so unbelievably terrible that I almost get in a car accident every single time that I go in the damn car. And that is insane to me, because it's not that really complicated. It's, basic rules of understanding, and it seems like maybe the biggest problem that we have right now is that we are so apathetic, we just don't give a shit about anyone else, that even driving has become this idea on where I'm gonna go where I need to go and screw everyone else. And it's getting absolutely absurd. This is the fall, this is the decline of a society if this is the actions that we're willing to take, this amount of selfishness right there. And the same thing happened to me when I was at the grocery store. I don't know if you've been to the grocery store lately, but people don't give a damn where they're standing or, how they're blocking traffic. It just rings to me, again, as absurd. You got a whole bunch of carts lying about in the middle of the aisleway, and people are like, go around, it's not my problem. And that's not a good attitude to have. It's troubling in that sort of sense right there. Or, here's my biggest pet peeve. Have you noticed, especially, I noticed this when classes came back in session. I was hanging about here during the summer, and as soon as classes started back up, you had all these students back on campus, and what do students love to do more than anything else but walk like the people in the beginning of the Law and Order theme, where they just fan out. And that was something that always pissed me off about the opening to Law and Order. Was you got all these, you got the cops, you have the lawyers, you have the prosecutor, and they're all hanging out, fanning out in the middle of this office, and it's like, dude, there are probably people who are trying to get around you right now, but you're just trying to do that cool walk right down the middle. Screw everyone else. Maybe I'm in the way, it doesn't matter. That's what people do around here, students especially. You got 5 people, they all want to walk in a straight line, and then it's like, that there's other people. I used to be very self-conscious, and I'd try to move out of the way, but at this point now, if someone is taking up the entirety of the sidewalk, and I can't get past, I just stand there and wait for them to move. I'll stop walking entirely and just tap my foot and go, hey, where's your solution to this? Because I'm at least occupying some space that should at least be allowed to me. It's an ongoing problem, it's an ongoing issue, but it stems beyond that even. We're talking about, little social exchanges and that sort of thing, but I mean, spatial awareness, I think by its definition, is, a lack of, when you don't have spatial awareness, you lack the understanding of what it's like to be somebody outside of yourself, essentially. That's where racism stems from, is that you have this concept of you are all important, you are the godly one, or something like that. You care more about your own spatial awareness than the spatial awareness of anyone else. And knowing how much you probably hate it when people are getting in your space and invading your rights and that sort of thing right there, why don't you ever, why aren't individuals able to, be empathetic to others, and understand that we all have this same concept, tied to us. We all have spatial awareness. And so consequently, we should all be treated with respect in that manner. Right? And again, you're probably not the person I need to be talking to about this, but, frankly, I thought, if anything, maybe that video made a difference right there. And that's all we're trying to do right now more than anything else, to try to make a difference as much as we can, and to do it in the most positive way that we are able to. Sometimes it's difficult, and it's not an easy fight. But we're here, we're now, and screw it, I'm not gonna let them win. Really? You think that's what it's gonna be? No. Oh, and to throw it on everything else, has standing against a civil rights movement ever worked out? I'm gonna leave you with that one and click it over some music. Here's Florence and the Machines.